So if you get opportunity after our meeting, I want you guys to jump on and register. They got a lot of good information out there. So a couple notes I want to put out before we jump in and I introduce some of these two contractors I work with. But I'm going to send out an email if you're interested in a scholarship to do commercial. Justin Young from Metro Tech, there's a scholarship I'm going to send out if you want assistance to get your CCIM to specialize in commercial. Also, what's his name now? In the NAACP, if you have been discriminated in the Southern sector, please reach out to me. If you've been discriminated against, your clients have been discriminated against past 30 through a lender, whether it's car, loan, or house, please reach out to me. Kevin Felders of the NAACP wants to be notified. So reach out to me so I can get that information over to him. All right. Uh, okay. Shantae is not in to introduce new members, but if this is your first time to a NAREB meeting and or you haven't been here in a while, will you introduce yourself? Not the panelists, just introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Corey Mitchell, and I'm with Skylight Home Inspections. I have spoken to Mr. Monty Brown a couple of times before, and he and I have sort of established a bit of relationship, and he has always extended his hand forward. I had a chance to speak to someone from Green Team Realty yesterday, Shantae, and she sent me the information and invited me to sit in and thought that it would be a good idea that I would have a chance to meet everybody in the group. So I'm excited to be here, excited to make introductions and get to know everybody. Thank you for having me on this morning.
Okay, that sounds great. Thanks for attending, Corey. Anybody else?
Hi, I'm Luis.
Well, you're a panelist. You're a panelist. You want to be introduced, Luis?
Okay, just want to say hi.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Good morning. My name is Wes Gresham.
Good morning, Wes.
Very good, very good. I have not attended in some time, I'll put it like that, but I'm certainly happy to be here this morning and to meet and receive information in regards to the investing that is going on. So, and I'm with Keller Williams Realty, Southlake.
Anyone else? All right, since we don't have anyone else, I want to get into our panelists. Of the contractors I both have worked with for Luis, probably the last 5 years, SOS Foundation. And would you please unmute yourself and speak about SOS Foundation, Luis, please?
Oh, thank you so much for this opportunity, Monty. Back in '94, I was checking. That's 6 years going on 7 now. So awesome. Thank you so much. You've been a great customer of ours. And this is SOS Foundation Repair. SOS Foundation Repair, it's a Christian values based company. So we go out to homes, and I personally look at it as if I'm going to do an estimate for my own mother. So we draw the house, we check the altitudes, and then based on the elevations, we determine where the home needs to be raised. However, we also look at other contexts, such as drainage and, maybe the home's been remodeled, so it may only need to be stabilized, or did it have piers there before, so it doesn't need anything anymore. So the evaluations we do are free. Texas shifting soils sometimes create some little bit of expansion, with the moist, and it creates swell. So sometimes cracks in a house may be normal shifting. That's another thing we like to see and help you understand how that works. Monty, I don't know how much time I got.
You got like 5. You got 5 minutes, Luis.
5. Okay, so it's been 1. So let me give you a couple of other things really quick. I usually tell my customers that when a home level, it's maybe 0 right here where my pointer's at, and it drops down, say 1 inch is really that much, but for the sake of argument, I usually say that this would, imagine that's 1 inch, just to magnify it. What happens with the wall outside is that it tilts towards, like a 90 degree. So that whole thing, when it comes out like this, the wall outside looks like it's falling out. And it starts pushing facial board on the corners, because it's trying to go out like this. Sometimes you have like a soffit, and what it does is it creates a belly. The wall cannot push out. So it creates a belly. So you see a straight crack all across the brick outside. And you wonder why. It's because it's a belly towards, the outside. So the levels help us determine if it needs lifting there. And last but not least, I always come across a few realtors who call us for an inspection, and the house needs nothing, or we give them an estimate and they never use us. So they start feeling bad about it because they don't want to waste my time. I want you to erase that from your head, because it's never a waste of time to help you. It's never a waste of time to help that home buyer understand whether or not this is a good investment for them. And if we want to do it for the money, we don't care about those things. But when we do it for the customer, the customer will be able to see. And I tell you, there was a house that was all over the place. It was a slab on grade. And to me, that meant a lot of water underneath the house. Check the plumbing before. She was saying that they were going to buy the house and repair it. And when the house, after the repairs, they were going to close on the house because they couldn't get a loan on it. I said, don't do that. And she did it anyways. There was a stipulation on the contract that if they don't go through with the sale, that they would get their money back for the foundation. But they did it anyways. But the thing I said to her was, if you don't check the plumbing right now, and we fix the foundation, you could be spending a lot of money on plumbing. Well, they approved the loan. She got into a house. We fixed the foundation, and the plumbing was about $30,000 worth of repiping. So she was crying. Her husband didn't know what to do. They actually found another loan somewhere else to fix that, but that's not the right approach. So I think the best thing to do for your customers is let them do their due diligence when they're buying a house in their option period. When I bought this house, the realtor wanted, I had to fire a realtor because she was looking out for herself. And I was making sure that the investment was the right thing to do. So every time I ask, can I send somebody to do a pressure test before we buy the house? Well, this is not the right, I don't know anything, lady. Don't assume that I know just because I'm a contractor. Please help me. I'm hiring you to help me, and I want to get my inspections done before I make a decision on this house. And so then the next realtor helped me so much with not only answering my questions, but allowing me to do all my due diligence before I went into this investment, because it would be very hard on us if we made the wrong choice. So when we go out to see a house for foundation inspections, we look at it as if my own mother was buying the house, but we also look at it as if my own mother was selling it. So you got to understand that we cannot take sides. Some home sellers say, "Oh, that crack's been there all the time since I bought the house," and I just say, "Well, it shouldn't have been there. That the crack should not be there. The house needs repair, unless it already high, but most of the time, and Monty knows this since '94, that I'm sorry, 2014. Um, the fact that some homes don't need anything, and they're really old homes. Hey, look, this house doesn't need anything, Monty. I was like, oh, thank you. So please understand that we're only out there to see what the house needs. We don't care if you choose us or not. What happens here is that some things are out of the realtor's hands. So we know that the choice is going to be made by either the buyer or the seller. So we only provide you with the estimate to help help them make a decision. And we really are not out there to try to make a sale. So please understand that. Know that we're here. You call me 10 times if you want. We ask that you make the appointment maybe a day or two before. Don't go. We're running out of option period. It's Friday. Can you come today? I got a meeting at 10 o'clock with Monty Brown. You know, I'm not going to stand everybody up, and I got a schedule for the rest of the day as well. So please help me on that. If you guys call the office,
You mind, Luis? You mind putting your information into the chat so everyone else can have it? Guys, I've worked with Luis probably the last 5-6 years. He's my go-to contractor. He's done the work at my own personal house. I've had 8 foundation companies out there, and I always try to leave Luis, and I always go back to him. He's one of them guys you can't really get rid of, but I recommend him, guys.
Thank you.
So, yeah, so you don't have to. Hey, put your stuff in the messenger, Luis, so we can reach out to you. And in the chat, put your information so the group can reach out to you if they have clients or even need foundation work on their own personal house. Now, the one thing I want you guys to do is make sure if you refer Luis, he gets paid. Please, if you do not, I want to make sure there's no breakup with if you refer him. He's my go-to guy, and I'm skeptical of sending people I do business with out to my peers. I want to make sure you guys take care of Luis if your client is working. If your client is questionable, don't refer Luis. But he can't afford to hear. He's a small business foundation company. He can't afford it. So I'm gonna vouch for Luis, and I want you guys to use him as he's very reasonable. He's a go-to person, and I don't have anything bad to say about the work and quality Luis has done for the last 5 years. So so guys, reach out to Luis.
Thank you.
I appreciate. Thanks for taking the time out to come to the panel, Luis. Next up, I have Jimmy Porch. He's
already unmuted.
He's been so busy he hadn't had a chance to come back to our meeting, but that's good. That means he's making money. But Jimmy's also a realtor, and he came to the meeting last year. He got involved last year, but Jimmy is definitely a roofing company of the people, by the people, and I've used him before. So go ahead and introduce yourself, Jimmy.
Well, good morning and happy holidays to everyone. And my name is Jimmy Porch, and I'm with Myriad Roofing, and we specialize in both commercial and residential roof repairs and replacements. I'd say that in terms of the mix, we do probably about 60% commercial, 40% residential. When it comes to residential roofing, as I said, we specialize in all types of repairs, as well as replacements. In terms of our company, what we do is we sit down with the homeowner to educate them on a roofing system. In order to get a warranty, there's certain requirements that are needed on the roof. Oftentimes, we see the shingles and that's it. And some roofers will tell you that you have a warranted roof. And in fact, you don't. I've been on several roofs, especially in the southern sector. I'm talking, Duncanville, DeSoto, Lancaster, where you have roofers who come in and they'll tell you that you have a warranty, and we've gotten on the roofs and you don't. And so I guess our claim to fame in terms of our business is that we sit down with each and every homeowner to educate and show them the entire system and how your roof is warranted. Myriad Roofing provides a 10-year labor warranty on all roof replacements and a 50-year on all shingles. If you have any, buyers or sellers that are having issues on their home inspection reports as it relates to possible repairs or replacements, don't hesitate to give me a call. We've done several projects with various roofers in the organization where they'll call and say, Jimmy, hey, I'm in a situation where we got to get this roof replaced within a few days, and we've been able to execute and deploy our teams to get the roofs completed. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to give us a call. We do free inspections. If you want an in-depth inspection, there's a fee associated with that, because basically what we do is we provide you an inspection that goes from A to Z, in addition to that with photos and recommendations. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to call me. We're all about supporting various organizations through philanthropic efforts. So if there's ever any opportunities out there where you need a roofing company to come in and sponsor some other activities, don't hesitate to give me a call.
Okay, appreciate it, Jimmy. Jimmy is also somebody. Don't call him unless your your people are serious about the roof. I recommend Jimmy to the group as far as the work, his quality, and being there to make sure the job is done. But Jimmy's also a small roofing company, so he can't take the hit, guys, if your client's not serious. So think about along that lines. I'm extending Jimmy out to the group. My name's on the line. So and that's what it boils down in the leadership position. NAREB, we all family. And at the same time, whatever quality of work that we put out, it represents not just you, us. So think along that lines when we collaborate and we work together in the group as well. All right. All right, guys, we're moving along. Thanks, Jimmy, for definitely coming aboard. And we do need sponsors. And it's also time for us to re-up for our membership going toward for next year. So you guys jump on narebdallas.com or .org and register for membership. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me or any of the board members about trying to register, making sure you are financial or in good standing with NAREB Dallas, because we've already have our calendar events. Only thing we need now are sponsors to come along to introduce themselves and let us work among our communities to support us, by us in a sense. So next up, I have our first VP, Mr. Stephen Lewis, and he'll be moderating the Buying Back the Block. Go ahead, unmute Mr. Lewis, Courtney.
All right. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. So thank you, President Monty. Yes, we have a great. I just got to keep saying great panel discussion here, Buying Back the Block. Obviously, we're getting ready to hit a time in real estate where we don't know what the outcome of 2021 is going to look like, but we have the ability to provide effective change on the way we see growth opportunities and real estate investment connections in terms of what we can do together and really play off the knowledge that we gain from this Buying Back the Block. I got a great panelist of people. We have, as you see there, Diane Ragsdale, Christopher Senegal, Paul Lewis Sr., who's actually my dad, and then Antonio Everett. So I just want to introduce each of our panelists here, and I'm going to be your moderator for today. So the first one we have is Diane Ragsdale. Diane Ragsdale is a South Dallas native. She's the founder of South Dallas Fair Park Inner Cities Community Development Corporation, better known as ICDC, which was founded in 1986 and has been the managing director of ICDC since 2004. Under her leadership, the South Dallas Fair Park Inner City Community Development continues its mission of building lives and revitalizing neighborhoods with several ongoing initiatives. So she's been building over 250 homes, providing much needed home ownership opportunities, purchasing and revitalizing a retail center, introducing low-income inner-city youth to the possibilities of business ownership as a viable career path. She's been mentored by the late civil rights pioneer and the Dallas City Council member, Juanita Craft. Ms. Raddell's civic involvement began as a member of the NAACP Youth Council. Moving from appointed to elected office as a member of the Dallas City Council, Ms. Raddell continued to be a staunch advocate for planned economic development and neighborhood self-determination. In addition to ICDC, Ms. Raddell has helped to found numerous community-based organizations, including the Martin Luther King Jr. Community Health Center and Common Ground Economic Development Corporation. Ms. Raddell continues to live in sunny South Dallas and is a strong organizer for community self-determination through education, mobilization, and organization. So that's Dallas's own Ms. Diane Ragsdale.
Thank you.
The second person we have here is Mr. Chris Senegal. Mr. Chris Senegal, that's actually one of my fraternity brothers that I'm happy to have on this panel. So Chris is a degreed civil engineer. He's based out of the Houston, Texas area. He's a real estate residential experience. His real estate residential experience began in 2008 as a single family flipper and rental property owner. In 2013, Chris started Invictus Development Group to focus on revitalizing disinvested communities. He has been featured in several major news outlets for his efforts to bring moderately priced single family development back to the community that's once thrived, but now have a low income housing focus. His goal is to bring higher income back to these communities from the suburbs so that the neighborhood becomes more attractive for business opportunities. So his business, the Invictus Development Group, focuses on a zero displacement model. The approach is to only build new construction over abandoned, blighted, nuances properties or commercial properties that are prime for the change for use. Chris has been featured in the Houston area Cron, ABC News, Yahoo News, Blavity News, and DefendersNetwork.com, and amongst others. So we're happy to have Chris Senegal with us today. The next person that we have is Paul Lewis. That last name Lewis fits my last name. He is happy to have Paul. He's my dad, and Paul has a remarkable, successful real estate investor over 30 years. So 30 years worth of experience. He has purchased, rented, built, and sold over 200 homes and vacant lots, and continues today to build his investment portfolio. He's received training for some of the greatest real estate icons such as Ron LeGrant, Carlton Sheets, and Russ Whitley. He's also been a collaborator and have worked with and consulted with the late Ken D'Angelo, who launched the hugely successful Home Investors, better known as We Buy Ugly Homes. In 1997, he was presented with the coveted Quest for Success by the Dallas Blake Chamber of Commerce for his achievement as a successful real estate entrepreneur. Back in 1997, he ventured into the mortgage industry and created a successful brokerage, better known as Jubilee Mortgage Lending, and became the only African-American in Dallas Metroplex with a Federal Housing Administration direct endorsement, which is at DE. Back in 2005, his passion for serving others led to the start of a real estate investment training group, which has led him to train over 500 real estate investors, who many are still active today in the real estate industry. He served as the past president of the Dallas Association of Real Estate Brokers, which is our organization, and has served as the board of National Association of Real Estate Brokers on a national level. He's current president and CEO of PC Peak Development and Investment Firm, and is the managing partner of RPL Properties, where he builds homes to low to moderate income families. He attends Concord Church as a Christ believer, and has worshiped over OCBF for the last 30 years. He has been blessed with a beautiful wife, my mom, and he has a total of three kids, 3 boys. So we happy to have him as part of this as well. And Mr. Antonio Everett, Mr. Antonio Everett goes back to working with NACA. I personally worked with him as a NACA counselor a few years ago. But happy to have Antonio Everett join this discussion on this panel here. He's been a real estate agent for the last since 2006. He's actually a broker as well, working with first-time home buyers. He owns fourplexes and duplexes right here in the city. He has done so many purchase transactions that he has an eye for property conditions and budget for repairs. He's going to talk a lot about his interest on wealth creation through various sources of banks and hard money aspirations. He invests in multifamilies, and he would love to say that his books that he's currently reading or have read and helped him grow is really that Think and Grow Rich. And when you have owned a home, and for Antonio's efforts, he would like to say for all the incoming projects that he's invested in, he really has an interest to help people save, and keep their credit in order. So I'm going to be able to, we have to have Antonio Everett on this call as well, on this panelist discussion. And guys, I think we got a great list of
Let me go ahead
people.
And also Antonio has been my partner on on quite a few investment deals. He is an HBCU grad from Arkansas Pine Bluff. He is my fraternity brother. And me and Antonio created a relationship almost 7 years ago on our first initial project. And from there, he's also invested in the southern sector with 2 businesses as well. So the one thing I want you to innovate is we got trendsetters and people who are actually involved in the community, regardless of the market. They have sustained and continue, and that's what real estate is about. And we put together this panel, and I appreciate my board that threw their favorite picks out here. So we don't have enough time. This can be a 2-day event with these people that's on this panel. So we only got 30 minutes, so you can drill in and ask questions. Maybe they'll share their number with you, and they don't charge you too much after the fact. But have your way, Mr. Lewis, President Lewis.
All right, thank you very much. Was somebody about to say something?
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. I thought.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So guys, I got a list of questions here that I'm going to ask you individually, and so we'll have your phone unmuted as we look forward to hearing your answers. So this question that I have right here is for really Chris Senegal. We want to learn, Chris, how did you learn your investing or development skills? Can you share that?
Mentorship, getting consultants, working with the right people that are already doing it. I spent the first 3 or 4 years trying to figure it out on my own. And I just realized, there's such a learning curve in all of these different components that it's better for you just to find somebody that's got the expertise and give them some type of value, whether it's time, energy, effort, connections, whether it's money. That's your shortcut to success in any field, really. So that's what helped me get out of the fix and flip into the development stage of things. So yeah, I'm getting ready. I'm hitting another big curve. Yesterday, I closed on a $7 million site that we're going to do 275 unit apartment complex on. And I'm partnering with Gateway Development. There's a group out of Chicago that's been doing this since the Black group, all Black developers. And they've been doing this since 1999. So I'm going to do the same thing again, just reiterate the process, learn from the experts.
Man, I love it. That Chris, he's on to some big things, guys. So I take that same question and I ask Diane, how did you learn your investing and development skills?
Certainly, as Brother Senegal indicated, it has everything to do with mentorship. To be quite frank with you, I'm a mighty Trojan out of James Madison High School, and of course came out of Dallas Baptist University in nursing, by the way. I practiced nursing for quite a while and then realized that we have housing in particular as one of the underlying causes of illnesses. And so I wanted to make sure that I move forward away from the floor, if you will, to the community to begin to address one of the ways to prevent illness. And affordable, decent housing is one of those key ways to prevent illnesses. And so I developed a relationship with a real estate commercial banker who is a good friend of mine. He worked for Chase and Comerica took me on his own. As a matter of fact, he came to ICDC and he volunteered his time for a number of years, and with whom I worked, and of course I learned from him. So it was really mentorship and then practice. You cannot be, theory plus practice, and so and the mentorship, and that's in essence how I learned.
Good, thank you. Paul Lewis, I would like to ask that question too. How did you learn your investing and development skills for real estate?
Well, let me just say first and foremost that it's an honor to be a part of this panel, and especially with some of the illustrious people that you have here, and especially Diane Rags. I've been knowing her
Thank
for
you, sir.
years, and she's been just a phenomenal asset for this community.
Thank you very much.
When I first got into the real estate business, it was in 1991. I was a real estate agent with Century 21, and I developed my listing skills and understanding property values. And if you can understand property values, that's the first key in becoming a real estate investor. Because if I always say, you make your money when you purchase the property, but you realize it when you sell. And the key is purchasing it right. And of course, again, along with the group, you got to have someone there that can kind of teach you and hold your hand while you learn the business. And I was blessed to have some really good people behind me. And that was the foundation of the beginning of success and as an investor. Thank you.
Antonio, in addition to, your investment and development skills, how long have you been in business? What would you say your niche is right now? What did you find out and honed in on?
I think I found out a lot of stuff through necessity. Working with NACA for so long, being a loan officer and being a real estate agent, I was able to do 200 to 300 transactions a year as a loan officer and another 50 to 75 as a realtor. And I realized people didn't know what they were getting into, and people were getting into a lot of stuff without a lot of protection. So out of necessity, I decided, hey, instead of always finding houses for people and having to deal with the issues, I want to be the person that can turn over a house to somebody with all the issues already resolved. And then just, coming from Arkansas, I believe in the barter system. I met people like Monty. Monty had people who did contracting work, looking at so many home inspections and walking through so many houses. You just pick up an eye of what's required, what's needed, what the lender's gonna want, and then just being resourceful and finding people who can get those things resolved. So, my investment skills and my desire to do it really came from necessity and wanting to serve the clients in a better way and to put them in a better situation up front.
Understood. Thank you. So there's this quote that I see often. It says, we can go fast by ourselves, but we can go far together. So I asked this question to Chris: how did you build a team for your investment goals?
Networking, really, and looking for industry leaders that are in the community that look like me. For my new construction development projects, from the builder to the mortgage brokers, the insurance company, the real estate broker, real estate agents, they all look like us, and they're all high performing. It's not just bringing people to the table just to have them at the table. They have to actually be able to perform. It has to be more than just a social mission. So it's been working for me. There's a lot of networking. Not everybody works out. Not everybody has the same approach to things. So you kind of weed through a little bit of that. But yeah, it's really just about communication, talking to people, and making sure you run through enough different resources until you find the right fit for you.
Understood. And Paul Lewis, I asked you that same question. How did you go about building a team, and what does that process look like?
Well, what I look for is passion. I want to make sure that that the people that I have working with me also have the same passion that I have for the industry. To me, this is something that I get excited about even right now. I've been in the business over 35 years. And every morning I can't wait to get to work, because real estate it's not a job. To me, I could almost do it for free, because I have such a passion in serving this community. And I love to see deals come together. And so what I look for is that same mindset with other people. And if they have a passion for the business and they're skilled at what they do, then especially in areas that we're looking for, then I want them to be associated with our team.
Thank you, thank you. And Diane, with your approach to really successfully taking ICDC to a whole nother level, in terms of that, what would you say that has allowed you to build a team? What did you look for in order to take your advancing skills to that next level?
Well, first of all, you have to share the same values. You have to have guiding principles. And as indicated in my bio, one of the guiding principles is self-determination, and that you must believe that we as a people need to determine the direction of our community. We need to determine the direction of our lives. So we got to have common guiding principles. And one of those, as Brother Lewis just indicated, I look for passion. I mean, people got to be passionate. And sometimes this is difficult work. And so, everything's not going to go your way. You know what I mean? So and people sometimes are impatient, etc. And so, especially, to be quite honest with you, when you're serving low to moderate income families, the things are not moving as fast as you desire. And sometimes, for example, we pre-sale, and so sometimes the buyers fall out. And so that's a reality, but you got to have principles, and so we're talking about self-determination, and we're talking about passion, and also in a real fundamental way, you got to love people. Do you love people? And so that's very critical. I've noticed too where normally when I've had to find a way to terminate somebody, and I do find ways to terminate people, and usually sometimes that's all about they don't love people, and then they find themselves, since we're serving low to moderate income families, they can be very judgmental. And we got to be careful about that. And they can be very elitist. And so we got to be very careful. Why don't they do this? Why don't they get up? Hold up a minute now. God's going to take care of that, etc. And so, but they can be very elitist, and they can be very judgmental. And I become very concerned about that, because we don't know what people are experiencing day to day. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. You have to have that passion, which is critical in the service that we're doing. And so to drive on that really makes things a lot easier, and you can be able to educate and coach someone to the next level. So Antonio, I asked you, so what are some of your best real estate investment strategies? I like this question because now we're sort of picking and gleaning from you and sort of your knowledge that, we can't read all the books you read, but this opportunity right now is where you can really, show us, how we can take some of what and apply to our daily aspirations.
The strategies always depend on the clientele. Everybody has a different skill set. Some people have different variations of resources. So it really depends on the person. Me personally, I got involved and I started buying single family homes, and I realized that wasn't the path I wanted to go down, because it's just too much turnover, too much work on one property, too much liability. And what I realized is, for me, it was better to invest in multifamily properties. The reason is because of the liabilities. If I have, what are my fourplexes? I have one roof, one foundation, one tax bill, one insurance bill. If I had 4 houses, I would have 4 roofs, 4 foundations, 4 tax bills, 4 insurance bills. So consolidation was a better investment for me. And then just saving money. It all comes down to your ability to buy. A lot of people who are getting started, who are younger, I tell them, hey, let's go buy the investment property first. You go buy the investment property first. Now we can get you an FHA loan, conventional loan at 3 to 5% down, instead of a investment loan that's going to be 20% down. So I tell younger clientele and people who are getting started, hey, let's go buy the investment property, live in it a year, do what we have to do, and then you can buy the home you want to live in in another begin in another first-time buyer loan, 3%, 5%. And now you didn't have to put 20% down. So it always depends on analyzing the person you're dealing with. It's not going to be a general way for everybody to do it. You know, some people are married, they have more resources, they can put 20% down. Some people can't do that. Some people like single-family home. So really, it's just like going to the doctor. They're not going to tell you what you need to take. They're going to do a diagnosis. They're going to find out what's going on, what's your situation, and then format something that's best for you. So, you know, that's what I like. I like the process. Like Mr. Lewis says, I love the process. I love figuring stuff out. I love seeing how it comes together. But at first, when you're dealing with people, it's just finding out where they're at, what resources they have. Do they have the ability to do certain things? What's their financial situation? And then putting forth a plan that they can execute.
Thank you, Antonio.
Hey, Stephen,
Chris.
no, hey, Stephen, no,
Yeah.
I'm gonna cut to the chase. I think the group want to know how they come up with the money. They want. I think
Monty,
they want to cut to the chase. How they find the money? What?
Hey, Monty, we have that in here. We have that built in here. So really, and Chris, and I want to get to Chris on this. So Chris, how do you come up with the funding of your projects? I know Antonio really kind of talked a little bit about that, but Chris, I want to ask you because I know that that you have a lot of exotic things going on, and you just talking about a $7 million deal, partner up with a group in Chicago. So tell us a little bit about how you come up with the funding of your projects.
Yeah, here.
All right, sorry, I didn't have my mute off. Yeah, so great question. So yeah, especially in our historically Black neighborhoods, there's a lot of disinvestment. The financial institutions like the banks don't really see the value. They're not going to give you the loans. So what I had to start doing was get creative. What I do is I look for contiguous parcels of land, like entire blocks owned by a single individual where I can convince them to own or finance the property to me. So I get seller financing between 10 and 50% down. I can raise the money from my investor pool to take the property down. And then what I do sometimes is like on my new construction project, I had the seller release the lien for the loan, and then we convert it over to a joint venture agreement where he now gets paid as I sell each house. And I can now go to the bank and say, hey, I have this property with no debt on it, and I can use it as equity to get my construction loan. So I've done that. On another project, I'm sitting in a building right now. It's built in 1925, and it came with a portfolio of 19 other properties. Some of these residents in the regular houses back there have been there 19, 20 years. I was able to negotiate a seller finance on this deal. I did a crowdfund. So regulation CF crowdfund, you could raise $1,070,000. I did that, started it this time last year. It closed out in July. 1,500 investors investing between $250 and $10,000. Everybody has equity ownership in this. We don't have to wait for LeBron. We don't have to wait for Oprah. We can do these things in our communities. All my tenants are happy, completely renovated the properties. So those are my two smaller deals. For the larger deal, I was able to get financing because it's right at the intersection of I-10 and 59, right by Minute Maid Park, right next to downtown. There's a lot of redevelopment going on in that area. So I was able to go to Texas Citizens Bank, talk directly with the president. They gave me a $4.3 million loan. I raised capital with allowing people to invest $50,000 to $100,000 through opportunity zone structure. And then I actually had the church take a seller second for a little less than $1 million to close the gap on a total purchase price of $6.75 million plus closing costs, which brought it up to about $7 million.
Man, that's good, man. That's excellent. That's excellent. One thing that Chris mentioned that stood out to me, he talked about crowdfunding. He talked about getting others involved. He realized that, I can only do so much, but but the power of the people is how we can really invest and make change together. And so, Paul, I asked you that same question. How did you come up with the funding of your projects? Because everybody has a backstory.
Right. Well, let me just say, most people don't start off that large. They start off with one single family home. And the key is the purchase price. The funding is the easy part because everybody wants to invest in a project that's going to make money. And so if you work with a motivated seller, and again, where I see people fail, especially getting started in the real estate industry, is that they fail to work with people that are motivated or really in need of selling. And so if you get the property at a great price, and I'm talking about 40, 50, 60% below the market, you're going to have investors hanging around that would like to fund that deal for you. Now, of course, again, they might charge you 12%, or 2 or 3 points on top of that. But again, the key is getting started. I had a guy that backed me when I first got in the business. He put up $50,000. I bought the property for $50,000, remodeled it, and sold it for about $120,000. I gave him 18% interest and $2,000 on each deal. We did that a number of times until he said, Paul, look, I want to put about $1 million into your business. And before it was all said and done, he had about 3 million. And once the bank had a chance to see my track record, they said, well, look, hey, you no longer need this gentleman. We're going to back you ourselves, because what are the banks in the business for? To make money. And so everybody's always looking for an opportunity to make money. The investors are there. The key is, do you have a deal that can make money? So if you can find that particular deal, you'll get the funding for it. I'll put up the money for you if it can make money. That's the key.
Diane, I asked that same question with you. Can you share about your funding opportunities and what you did?
Well, first of all, ICDC is community-based nonprofit, a CDC, Community Development Corporation. We acquire public funding, and we also acquire private funding, meaning from lending institutions. And you're absolutely correct. People are looking for a deal that they can finance, because we leverage the Community Reinvestment Act. And so we hold banks accountable. We just don't, drive by a bank. So we insist upon them being held accountable. We just don't put our money in a bank. We insist upon the lending institutions being held accountable. So we leverage the Community Reinvestment Act. And of course, the banks are oftentimes looking not only for a good deal, but along with the good deal, they will aggressively pursue you, because they need to get the credits, if you will. They need to get the pluses. They need to make sure that they are following the federal law. And so I'm hoping that even under this new leadership, that we will be able to strengthen the CRA, which I believe we will. We have already begun from a national level, because I'm a part of ICDC is a part of a national coalition. And matter of fact, I really think the NAREB need to be a part of this movement, the community reinvestment movement, because that holds lending institutions accountable to move forward. So, but anyway, I'm just saying, public dollars, but also private dollars. Yes, you can have a deal, but the bank wants to pursue you to, in essence, invest in that deal in order for them to receive their CRA credit. And the reason that they want the CRA credit is because of the CRA law, the Community Reinvestment Act. And so we need to connect those things better. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Chris, you mentioned about opportunity zones. I know we hear that often in terms of, what that can do. Can you share a little bit about opportunity zones and leveraging that?
Sure. So opportunity zones, it's a tax vehicle really for those people that have capital gains to be able to defer their tax liabilities for 7 years, and then anything they invest in the community, it's a business or it's a real estate transaction, they have to hold it for 10 years, and if they do, all the profits on everything they do in that 10-year cycle is tax free. All the cash flow, the sale and the profits at the exit, all tax free. But a lot of us thought that it was something that we could really benefit from personally with gains. If you don't have a business that you sold, if you're not cashing in stocks, you really can't directly participate to benefit. The way you can benefit, however, is to get those people to invest in. You start your own fund, have them invest their capital gains into the projects, and like I said, they have to stay in for 10 years. A lot of times, what they'll do is they'll buy equity in the deal, and then you can refinance your project is stabilized so they can actually get recapitalized, get their money back, and stay in the project. But yeah, so that's in a nutshell. If you have any questions, I can answer them.
Got it. No, appreciate it. Thank you
Hey,
very much.
Hey,
Yeah.
Steven,
Go ahead, Monty.
our meeting on go is, I'm let your group know, our meeting's gonna run to like 10:30. I want to, I know everybody want to ask these guys a couple questions, but I want Antonio to mention, he's in the opportunity zone with two places, talk about that. But, and I also want the panelists, they don't mind sharing the information. And if you guys have a couple questions, can you put the question you have inside the chat box so Stevie can read them? So we got about another 10 more minutes. Antonio next, and the question. Go ahead, Antonio.
Okay. I wanted to touch on the acquisition of capital real quick first too as well.
Yeah, go ahead.
I worked in banking with Chase for my first 7 years before I got into real estate, and people want to invest in people who invested in themselves. You know, if you hadn't saved any money, if you hadn't taken care of your credit, you've shown basically that you're not committed to being successful. So people are going to invest in people who have invested in themselves, credit wise, saving money, becoming resourceful, learning a skill set. So to acquire money, you have to show yourself to be successful. You know, saving, save. Because my first few deals, I had to use hard money lenders. I couldn't go into the bank. So I used hard money lenders, and me and Money joked about it. You know, I saved my coins. I'm from Arkansas. I thought it was a big amount of money, and I called my first hard money lender, and he was like, "Hey, you need to have this kind of money before I do a deal." And I waited another year. I saved my money. I found partners, and I started investing. But I realized people will invest in people who have invested in themselves. Same thing with the bank. The deal needs to make sense, but the people they're dealing with need to make sense too. As far as me, I own 2 bars, and I'm in the opportunity zone. I'm in the South Dallas area in Fair Park, and it's a new director of the city of Dallas, Zarin Gracie, excellent brother, not only because he's a Capital, but also because he went to the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff. He's with the South Dallas Trust Fund. They have grants available. They have loans available for people who are willing to invest in those areas and start businesses. So there are a lot of tax deferral benefits, but there are also hardcore dollars that are available in these community development areas for people who are interested in bringing businesses to those areas. I've just got my application filled out for one of my locations, and they have grant funds that are not required to be paid back available, as well as loans for people who are interested in investing in those areas.
Thank you, Antonio.
Right, and that's that public dollar I was talking about. That's what Antonio was talking about, the public dollars. And I need to pat myself on the back. The trust fund was created by me when I was a member of the Dallas City Council in 1988. So, and it's still being used. Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks for your service.
Thank you. I need to put that out there. All right, thank you.
No, we appreciate it. And Diane, I really want you to touch on a lot of that as well with the opportunity zone. You know, I know that you have a real keen understanding, having worked with the Community Development Corporation. So can you share your knowledge on that as well?
Well, I tell you what, like Brother Senegal indicated, it's more than a notion to try to, you know, to try to move people to invest in our community. Nevertheless, we just need to acknowledge that. And of course, even though the tax liability can be deferred, and so we really, to some extent, have not been successful related to the opportunity zone. Part of the area around Fair Park is indeed an opportunity zone. It's indeed within an opportunity zone. So we have not leveraged that opportunity yet, because it's just right now it's not. To be quite frank with you, right now it's not serving us. It is not an entity that we could very well, or a tool that we can use that'll be a part of our toolbox, because it is difficult for small for-profit as well as nonprofit I do want to say, however, though, that whole issue of partnerships leverage impact. I mean, that we got to recognize that. I mean, talking about working together, partnerships leverage impact, and so we got to learn to trust one another, to work together, the crowdfunding, etc. And oftentimes we don't. I mean, I live in the heart of the hood. I live in a neighborhood real quickly that's called Wheatley Place, and I live on a street called Paul Laurence Dunbar. And right now it's about 60% Latino because they have acquired the older houses, they have renovated them, etc. And so what we really need to do is to invest in our old communities in order to help return some of our neighbors. So anyway, I didn't want to deviate, but with respect to the opportunity zone, we have looked at it, we've pursued it, and we've walked away.
Hey, one question that someone had wants to know: do you guys know anything or invest in mobile homes? Anyone on the panel?
What did you say?
Has anyone invested in mobile homes? They had a question about mobile homes
or mobile home parks.
Mobile home parks.
I haven't.
No, I haven't, but I mean, I have friends that do. I mean, it's like any other area, real estate. You know, you're either investing for value appreciation or you're investing for cash flow. If you actually own the park and the pads, then you have value appreciation. However, the mobile homes themselves depreciate, but they do have very strong cash flow. So it really just going to depend on your investing model. But I mean, it's definitely a feasible route to go.
All right. Hey, you guys mind sharing your information in the panel if you don't mind them reaching out to you? I don't know if anybody charge a consulting fee or whatnot, but but this is the thing NAREB is about, and we got our people that are making moves and trendsetters and readjusted the wheel outside of just selling real estate. And so, and this is the end game if you're in this business. You got to have an end game. The end game is not just to be a realtor and sell a bunch of houses. The end game is ownership. If you're a realtor or realtist and you're not investing and letting all the deals go to your investor, or even partner with somebody that's part of NAREB, that's a realtist, let a deal come our way before you send it out in the community. And you don't know who here can make it happen. And the thing about it is, we want people investing in NAREB before we start open our mouth telling you, hey, there's a pothole over there. So the key to this NAREB being realtors is you got to invest in us, and therefore we will invest in you, and then the wheels will start turning. So anything else, Stephen, before we move to Miss Redwine?
Yeah, well, I like to close it by this because this segment is all about buying back the block. So I want each one to really show how the important, or can you give people information how important it is to look at where we are today and the motto of buying back the block. I'm going to start with you, Paul Lewis.
Oh, okay. So you say buying back the block.
Correct. And I go a little bit further with you because I know that you got lots from the land bank and you kind of did a whole bunch of things, to invest into the community. So obviously looking at certain vehicles that you was a part of, think about that buying back the block in mind.
Got it. Well, one of the things that's always been important to me, and that has been serving our community, and especially the low to moderate income side of it. And so we're involved in several things. And when we talk about buying back the block, we had an acquisition of about 70 lots from the land bank program. And we're right now, that was in 2013. And we're right now finishing up our last 2 lots. And so we've been on an acquisition to acquire more and more lots. And so we're really excited about what we think the future of this community is going to be, especially in Texas. And next year, we're excited about the market, how strong the economy is. And there's plenty of opportunities out there for investors and builders alike. And even multifamily ownership. I'm excited on all sides of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Diane, I asked that same question to you.
Well, first of all, I do believe that in order for us to move forward, and I just want to leave this where we got to collectively work together, as it has been indicated. But also, what I call strategic land banking is important. And many times we've tried to buy on corners and also in the middle, because one of our goals is to prevent gentrification, to prevent displacement. And so we want to be in control of that block. And so when we say control of the block, then okay, I'm gonna buy this corner lot, I'm gonna buy this corner lot, and I'm gonna buy in the middle. And so to that end, we're just in better control, because it's very critical for us to if we're talking about the prevention, when we're talking about low to moderate income families, if we don't watch out, I mean, Hall and Thomas at one point in time was for the black middle class. I mean, and they were all run out. And so I'm just saying that for low to moderate income families, one of our goals is to prevent displacement. And so therefore we strategically buy lots.
Thank you. Antonio, can you share, please?
Okay, I think I got a different approach to it now. And it's not even different. I'm looking at retail and entertainment and commercial space. You got a great panel of people who are going to drive people to the community. And I want to be able to provide them entertainment, food services when they get there. So not only do we need to invest in where they're going to live, but people want something to do when they get there. Like I said, I have 2 bars in the Fair Park area, and also working on lease space for a restaurant in the area. So, you have to get the people back there, and then you have to have something to keep them there and something for them to do. So just as important it is to give them somewhere to stay, we also need places that will service these people when they get there. And it takes everybody's efforts to make the community work. So I applaud everybody on the panel for what they're doing. And, we all just need to keep doing our part to see it realized. Because like Ms. Ragsdale said, you need to get the lower income and the middle income back to sustain a community. You get a community, you need families, you need men. And I mean, I think that's the biggest thing in our community now is you need men in these communities. They sustain the community, they protect the community. And we need to get these families back in the communities.
That's good. That's a good approach to that, Antonio. And Chris, I'll leave it to you, that question.
Sorry, guys. I'm actually my contractor's in here fixing up some little things. So you might hear a hammer in the background. Yeah, so buying the block is definitely a movement for us to take control of our neighborhoods. Again, it's not like we never had control, because before desegregation, everything was in the community. And while we do focus a lot on the lower income folks that did not make it out, my goal is to try to bring the higher income people back in, the ones that look like us, out of the suburbs. And so my townhouse development, all my buyers are young Black working professionals, all 6-figure earners. Now the kids in the neighborhood can see somebody driving an Audi or a Porsche that's not a drug dealer, right? Now the people that live in those houses can go support Antonio and be able to tip the waitresses properly and keep Antonio's business flourishing. That's what we need in our neighborhoods. So everybody can participate in that. The people that are on this stage can, but even just the regular home buyers, the regular person that has no interest in investing in real estate needs to be buying in these communities, because as they revitalize and as the values go up, and would be gentrification happens, we usually miss that value appreciation. So that's why the net worth of the Black household does not go up, because we buy in the suburbs where the home prices go up 1 or 2%, and the neighborhoods and the prices are tripling. That net worth alone changes that whole trajectory of average net worth of the Black household. It puts our kids in college for free, borrowing against the equity in the house. It's just so many layers to it, so many things that's better if we start buying back our blocks and again.
All right, you guys have
love it.
What's so special about this panel is we have a baby boom, we have a couple baby boomers, a Gen X, and a millennial. You got it from three different angles.
I'm the millennium now.
You guys got different generations. So that's what we're about. And NAREB is history. We've been around since 1947, and this is a collaboration of what's going on. And these are the people we're trying to bring to the organization and have still been involved and touching us. So, you know, I commend you guys. I thank you guys for being a part of this panel and taking time out of your money-making schedule. And and one word that's missing is success comes with reinventing yourself year after year after year after year. And you know, when I was in corporate America, an older investor said he's happy about 80. They said, when are you gonna retire? And it looks like you guys don't plan on doing it no time soon.
It's passion.
Hey, and that's the key word. Success has a passion to keep you in it. And I appreciate and thank you guys. And next up, we have no other than
Thank you.
Thank you. And a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
And I hope you guys took some notes because I did. Hey, Ms. Redwine, go ahead.
Monty.
Okay.
Monty.
Go ahead.
I just want to mention, we do have a question, but I just want to mention the significance of this organization. Mr. Lewis, would you mind telling people who you bought those 70 lots from?
Well, none other than Pat Douglas.
I know that's right.
And Ms.
All
Ragsdale, most of your houses that's been sold the last few years.
That's exactly right. Most of our homes have been sold by Miss Pat Douglas.
So that's what this organization is about.
That's right.
It's about the commitment and the people that are passionate, and that's why Pat's still involved. Mr. Lewis still around, and Miss Ragsdale was accessible because of Pat Douglas.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Passion was what keeps the organization thriving. So, and that's what this is the person who I innovate and try to make sure to get pointed out. She's behind the scene, guys. So, they're making sure that we look good.
That's right.
All right.
I want to ask one before Miss Redwine comes in. Can I ask? We'll do our first question real quick.
Go ahead.
Be prepared, y'all, to put it in the chat. This is our. He didn't hear my bell a while ago. Christmas, y'all. This is Christmas, and anybody can put this in. Okay, be ready to put it in the chat, y'all. Okay.
Oh yeah, we got a couple gift cards, a $20 gift card.
We have some gift cards. He's gonna be sending them out. So y'all get ready. Okay, the Federal Fair Housing Act was founded in what year? The Federal Fair Housing Act was founded in what year? Y'all remember we celebrated.
Come on, put it there.
Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. Whoever gets in the chat first. Okay, somebody already responded. Okay. First was Perrette Park.
First one is Perrette.
Yeah, okay. All right, we can go on. We're going to have some more, so y'all get ready.
Next up, Ms. Redwine.
Okay, good morning. Now, I want to start by piggybacking on what Ms. Ragsdale has shared. And just so everyone knows, Monty is in touch with National so that we have our pulse on the monies that are going to be distributed and available for first-time home buyers while keeping our hands on what is happening as pertains to both evictions and foreclosures. So we got to keep our eye on that because it actually impacts everything that's been talked about today. With that said, Ms. Ragsdale was featured in an amazing article that discusses the whole issue of community reinvestment. Everything that was talked about today revolves around the issue of community reinvestment. When we talk about South Dallas and the difficulty with purchasing there, and I've owned homes there myself, hard money lenders have said they will not loan you money if they can see the Ferris wheel from that location. So you keep that in mind. So without the Community Reinvestment Act, it limits the monies that are available. As it is, the profit margins within that community are relatively low because of the challenges faced with getting owner occupants and the issues with the appraisals. So we do need to work diligently with Ms. Ragsdale, and I'm hoping that we will, so that we can make those changes to the Community Reinvestment Act. With that being said, I wanted to real quickly share with you guys, we had some amazing contractors And as we see the moratorium being lifted on foreclosures, we're going to see more properties come available that will need renovations. So I want you to understand that when you are listing a property or you're looking to purchase a property, it is critical, and I mentioned this before, but I'm going to go over it again, that you speak and work directly with the title company. You need to go to Dallas County, Rome. You need to look at the deed, and then you're going to need to work diligently with the title company before you start investing money to ensure that you can get clear title. That is a major problem in the southern sector. So they often have a transfer of the property within generations, but there are clouds on title that prevent the property from being sold and maximizing the amount that is earned on that. So when we're talking about a property that needs renovations, either because it's going to be sold or because the individuals want to live in it, one of the things that you want to do is speak with a contractor that is willing to be paid at closing. Those deals will work provided you have a strong contract. Your title company has already opened title and approved and confirmed that there is clear title. So once you have confirmed, and this will work on any property anywhere, once you know that to be the case, then you can reduce the risk and increase the chance of getting more money for the property by having a contractor who is willing to allow the renovations to be done and to be paid at close. They will need to have, we've talked before about mechanics liens. So this contractor will need to have their paperwork tight, send it to the title company, and that will lock it up. Now, there is one other thing I want to mention, and that is with the number of investors that have entered the market, you must be sure you're protecting your buyer, because if a contractor has done renovations, when you look at the property, if they have a new hot water heater, if they have a new anything, if it looks like there's been work done, it is imperative that you ensure there is a transferable warranty and that you've got proof that this was paid for. If you do not, the new owner could be faced with payment due on the contractor because a title policy does not cover unrecorded liens. We are seeing these issues because of licensees that are unfamiliar with what the law states. The other issue is you must pay attention to the contract, which specifically states that we are providing a general warranty deed. However, many contractors are not going to provide a general warranty deed. They are going to provide a special warranty deed. The challenge you face if you don't pay attention, which most do not, if you're not paying attention to that title, the special warranty deed only covers the time in which the investor owned the property. So if that investor is flipping in 3 or 4 months, it's all you have coverage for. So you're standing out there naked. So you need to be attentive. And with that, I'll wrap, Monty.
Thank you, Ms. Redwine. You want to give one more gift before we have Mr. Carter comes in and swears in? Unmute yourself, Pat.
Well, to have some kind of Christmas cheer, y'all, before we do the installation. Okay, I think we have the wheel ready.
Yeah.
Y'all want to do one more question?
Yeah, one more question. Go ahead.
Before we do the wheel?
Yes,
we'll do the wheel for last 4. How many did we have? 6? Okay, y'all ready?
Yes.
Okay, now listen, this is the question, and we'll do this one. This is the last question, and then the others are going to be done with the wheel. Okay. All right. NAREB was founded in 1947. In what city? What city was NAREB founded? Ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, did y'all get the question?
Yeah, they got it. I don't think
y'all just don't know the answer. Y'all don't know the answer? No, not Chicago. Somebody said Chicago. Okay, I'll give it. Okay, what, Monty? You're not supposed to be dead. You okay? Somebody else.
Baltimore.
Everywhere.
Carol got it. Carol got it.
Okay, Carol. Okay, we got Carol Holmes. She won then.
All right.
Who's found in Tampa, Florida, y'all. Okay.
Go ahead, Mr. Carter. You ready to, does Harold have everything he needs, Pat, to meet Mr. Carter?
Unmute Mr. Carter.
Yeah, I got you. Thank you.
Okay. Let me introduce him. If some of y'all know him, Mr. Harold Carter, who is currently serving and was just re-elected the vice chair of the board of the NAREB board. Okay, so he is again serving as our vice chair of NAREB board, of the NAREB board, Mr. Carter.
Okay, thanks. Thank you, Miss Douglas and President Monty Brown. It's a pleasure, it's an honor to sit in on your meeting this morning. I sound like I've been sitting in on the Black Wealth Encyclopedia this morning. It was great information that was shared. And I want to just tell you, this chapter is one of 93 other chapters across the United States that's trying to do the same thing about creating Black wealth all across America. And this information just shared, which is so enlightening and so uplifting. We got to have all of you all back somewhere so we can put a history of all this knowledge and information. Also, I see you have some icons on the panel this morning, and Mr. Paul Lewis and Cecil, and some people whose history goes way back, Mr. Billy Scott, Miss Douglas, some of the rest of you, Paul Lewis again. As a matter of fact, I started my career right here in this chapter, and been your president, been the state president, region and all, but it started right here in this chapter. But more important about this chapter, Miss Douglas just said in 1947, when they did not have air conditioning cars, where we couldn't spend nights in hotels, where we couldn't do anything, we had a great visionary from the city of Dallas. So right then it started. Mr. Maceo Smith helped start the National Association of Real Estate Brokers. We stand on those shoulders today, and you should be so proud to be even included in the NAREB Association, National Association of Real Estate Broker, because of Mr. Smith. It's a wonderful organization. We're struggling all across the United States to bring Black wealth to our community. Buying back the block is one part of it. Investment in the Black community is a major, major concern. And as you know, and Ms. Ragsdale just mentioned something with the CRA. It's for a while it didn't even have teeth, but it's going to have more teeth with the Biden administration. The Biden administration, as a matter of fact, Black folks helped elect the president of the United States. And he's not going to forget us, and we're not going to let him forget us. So if you will, just stand by, and whatever projects you have, opportunity zones, community reinvestment acts, all of those are going to be brought forth with the National Association of Real Estate behind it. But you brought me in this morning to do something that I have great pleasure in doing, and that's to bringing up other chapters, installing other leaders. And I'm glad to see, Ms. Douglas, we got some young millennials, young realtors. We've been wanting to do this for years. Some of us are getting a little bit tired, but we're so happy that we have great people to fill our shoes. And I look forward to all of you one day when this pandemic is over, we can all get together in a convention, we can highlight each other, and you'll know who's behind you. So when you're out here operating, just remember, you have a national association behind you. You have people with similar goals, similar problems. All of us, we're working together for the same goal, which is to uplift the Black community. With that said, again, thank you for letting me have this opportunity to do this. But Mr. Monty Brown, why don't you let me do you individually? But for the other members of the association, we have the first vice president, which you all, you're here, you're present. I looked over your roster. Only somebody I did not see is Miss Brenda Williams. Is she available? If
She's
Brenda,
here.
she is here.
She's
Okay.
waving.
Okay, well, good. We're all here. So if you will, I'm going to go ahead and repeat the oath. So that if you will, I'm going to ask you to state your name, and I'm going to ask you about the office that you've been elected to. So, but Monty, don't you do it. Let me come back right quick and do you individual. You're the head of this organization. So we got to make sure that we all hear you speak as an individual president. So thank you, Mr. Brown, but let's go ahead and get started.
If all the officers could unmute themselves.
Yeah, would you please?
Oh, well, he's got a, okay.
I see you on the screen. You have a list of them. I'm not going to call you off, but I'm just going to have you just repeat your own name. Is everybody ready? Is everybody unmuted? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Douglas. I state your full name.
I,
Stephen Lewis.
Holmes.
Having been elected, state your office.
Having been elected as the first vice president.
Did all of you repeat your office?
Yes.
Board member.
Second vice
First vice president.
Parliamentarian.
Okay. Do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
That I will support
and defend
the Constitution and bylaws
Constitution and bylaws
of the Dallas Association of Realtors,
of the Dallas Association of Realtors,
Texas Association of Real Estate Brokers,
Texas Association of Real Estate Brokers,
National Association of Real Estate Brokers,
National Association of Real Estate Brokers.
that I will bear true faith
I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same,
that I take the obligation freely
that I take the obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well
and that I will
and faithfully
faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the office
of the office
upon which I am about to enter.
I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
God.
Congratulations. You are officially the directors and the board of directors for the National Association, for the Dallas Association of Realtors. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations
to you, Mr. Carter.
All right, Mr. Brown.
All right.
This is our leader, and I want to encourage everyone to support him in whatever he's doing, uplift him, undergird him, give him your support. He's out here and he's doing it freely, and he's committed to this organization. We look forward to promoting Mr. Brown all the way to the national office. So, Mr. Brown, if you will, let's begin with your oath. I state your name.
I, Monty Brown,
Having been elected, state the office.
having been elected as NAREB Dallas president,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution and bylaws
the Constitution and bylaws
of the Dallas Association of Realtors,
of the Dallas Association of Realtors,
the Texas Association of Real Estate Brokers,
Texas Association of Real Estate Brokers,
and the National Association of Real Estate Brokers,
and the National Association of Real Estate Brokers,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same,
that I will take this obligation freely
that I will take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well
and I will well
and faithfully
and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the office
of the office
upon which I am about to enter.
I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you your president of the Dallas Association of Mr. Monty Brown. Congratulations, Mr. Brown.
I appreciate it, Mr. Carter.
Congratulations, Mr. Brown. Congratulations.
The National Association is behind Mr. Brown 100%. Thank you, Mr. Brown. Thank you, Ms. Douglas.
Mr. Carter, you'll have to do the Women's Council also. Is that right, Carol?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Ms. Carol, she's been faithfully executing her duties as president, so she brings before the National Association of Real Estate Brokers, and we're behind the Women's Council also. They are one of our strongest affiliates in the whole organization. So Ms. Brown, Ms. Holmes, let's begin. And and state your full name after I say I.
I, Carol Holmes.
Having been elected, state your office.
Having been elected president of Women's Council, Dallas chapter.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
That I will support and defend.
That I will support and defend.
The Constitution and bylaws.
The Constitution and bylaws.
Of the Women's Council of NAREB.
Of the Women's Council of NAREB.
The Dallas Association of Realtors.
The Dallas Association of Realtors.
The Women's Council.
The Women's Council.
Of the National Association of Real Estate Brokers.
Of the National Association of Real Estate Brokers.
That I will bear true faith.
That I will bear true faith.
And allegiance to the same.
And allegiance to the same.
That I take this obligation freely.
That I take this obligation freely.
Without any mental reservation.
Without any mental reservation.
Or purpose of evasion.
Or purpose of evasion.
That I will well.
That I will well.
And faithfully.
And faithfully.
Discharge the duties.
Discharge the duties.
Of the office.
Of the office.
Upon which.
Upon which.
I am about to enter.
I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Ms. Holmes. And ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you your new president of the Women's Council, the Dallas Association of Real Estate Brokers. Ms. Holmes, take your bow.
Hey, Mr. Carter, you got the board. Carol's board. Her board.
Carol, can you introduce your board?
I can.
I don't have that list.
It's okay.
That's why I said that for Carol to introduce them.
So my board is my first vice president, Marty Jeffries. She's waving. My second vice president is Kelly Houston.
Great.
Awesome. Where is she? My secretary, Anita Young. Did she jump off? There she is. My assistant secretary, Charmaine Byers. There she is. She heard her name. And my treasurer is Jasmine Handsome. My parliamentarian, Monty Brown. And chaplain, Chris Ziegler. Is Chris on? Ziegler.
I think Chris jumped off.
He may have. Okay.
Yes, Ms. Holmes, I also want to extend to you that the National Association of Real Estate Brokers stand behind you 100%. If at any time we can be of service to your organization, we're here to support you and to help you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
All right. I guess next up, we will be doing, do you want to swear them in, Mr. Carter, or do you don't have it?
Who is that?
The Women's Council. You want to swear them in as well?
The officers.
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. I state your full name.
I'm Monty Brown.
Jasmine Hanson.
Having been elected, state your office after you say having been elected.
Having been elected.
Having been elected treasurer.
Okay. Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
That I will support and defend.
That I will support and defend.
the Constitution and bylaws
the Constitution and bylaws
of the Women's Council of NAREB,
of the Women's Council of NAREB,
the Dallas Association of Realtors,
the Dallas Association of Realtors,
and the Women's Council
and the Women's Council
of the National Association of Real Estate Brokers,
of the National Association of Real Estate Brokers,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same,
that I will take this obligation freely
that I will take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well
and that I will well
and faithfully
and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the office
of the office
upon which I am about to enter.
I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, board. You all are installed as the Dallas Women's Council of NAREB. So thank you for your service. Miss Holmes, you got a crew to work with, and I'm looking forward for great things from from your association. So thank you so much, Miss Douglas, Mr. Brown. It's my pleasure to induct you and your Women's Council today. Please keep up the good work, and we all look forward to work together and making Dallas one of the most successful chapters in the United States. Thank you so much, and everyone, please have a Merry Christmas and be safe.
Thank you, Mr. Carter.
Thank you, Mr. Carter. Just before we jump into it, I just want to make sure I mention my Board of Governors. I have Miss Laura Washington as my board chair. I have Deborah Kennedy and Miss Madge Day and Miss Theta Red. So I just want to make sure I mention those ladies as well.
Okay, thank you, Carol. One more thing, guys. I know we're about to do the wheel with Pat Douglas, and then Stephen's gonna pray us out. Go ahead, Pat. Have your way. Who's doing the wheel?
Okay, can y'all put the wheel up? Courtney? Can you transfer to
Correct's gonna put it up.
Correct.
Correct is putting it up now.
Okay. All right. We ready? All right. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Everybody clap. Everybody clap. Hopefully you'll win. Okay. Gene Wesley. Wesley.
All right.
Wesley. Okay, y'all write down the
Miss
name.
Pat, I'm here.
Okay, all right, you're a winner.
Hey, can you
Merry Christmas.
Can you guys text me your mailing address? I'm gonna put my cell phone in the group so I can make sure I get it in the mail this by Monday.
Okay, that was number 3. We had 6, right? Is that right?
We have 3
Monty?
more. We
3
have
more.
3 more.
Okay, we ready? Y'all better clap so you win. Clap. Okay, ready?
Click
Go,
remove.
go.
Correct. Click remove. If you click remove, it'll take his name out. and
Take it to, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we ready. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Go, go, go. Okay, Billy Scott. Billy Scott. Mr. Scott. Merry Christmas, Mr. Scott. Did you,
Thank you so
was
much.
it Mr. Scott? So was it a big, okay.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, Merry Christmas. All right, next. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
It's a tie.
Okay, Tina. Is Miss Tina still on?
Yeah, she's still here, but I got her. All right, up next. Who's next?
Okay, last but not least, one more.
I'm here.
Corey.
Patricia. Oh, I thought it was me. Corey.
All right.
All right. Thank you all, and Merry Christmas to everybody.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. And
Merry Christmas, y'all.
All.
Merry Christmas.
To see you all
Merry
real
Christmas.
soon.
Please be safe.
Okay.
Merry Christmas.
Somebody
You
praying?
mind praying us out, Mr. Lewis?
Yes. Dear Heavenly Father God, thank you for watching over us, Father God, this day. Lord God, thank you for allowing us to get.
You muted, Stephen. You got muted.
Can you, Father God, just thank you, God, for just allowing us to be present. Father God, thank you for allowing us to carve out time in our busy schedule, Father God, to connect together as one body, Father God, connect together as people who aspire for change in the community, Father God. Thank you for this meeting and the panelists, Father God. Thank you for the new officers that were sworn in, Father God. And we just pray over our nation, pray over our economy, Father God, as we head into 2021, Father God. Put it on our minds, hearts, and souls to create something that's new and heartfelt, Father God, as we look about change in this next season that we're going into, Father God. We know that the forbearance is going to be lifted, Father God, and that student loans are going to be paid back, Father God. And so we don't know what things will look like in the future, Father God, but there's a group and a body that's here to help and guide those individuals every step of the way into their next decision-making process. Father God, allow us to connect with individuals, grow our businesses to connect with the organization, Father God. And as we lean on each other, as we really lean on each other, Father God, in such a mighty way, Father God, with you in mind for us to create change and affect change. We love you. We thank you. And we look forward to our return after this lovely holiday, Father God. And we may not forget the things that you put on our hearts and our souls and what this season means to be grateful and to be thankful and appreciative, Father God, for where we are. We love you and we thank you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Nation is on break, but I do have their number if anybody would like to write it down to just get on Zoom.
Just send it to me in the text, Mr. Scott, and
okay, I'm gonna text it to you,
and I'll share it with the group. I appreciate you guys for showing up and extending us out past an hour and a half for this induction, and I'm pretty sure you guys enjoyed the buying back the block because I really enjoyed it. And next month, me and some of the board have already planned Ask an Appraiser. Mr. Robbie Wilson will be telling you guys he'll make sure we get there the value that our client needs next month. So please tune in for next month for Robbie Wilson Ask an Appraiser, and also having Angela Miller talk about 100% financing as well. So
and just to let everybody know, this is the last day of and this last day, this last day. And the last session, which will be, I understand, what's his name? Antoine told us that there can be kind of like entertainment, Jodeci or whoever that is. I think somebody, Jodeci, I think is gonna be. I don't know about all these people, y'all, it's gonna be on there. So y'all might want to get in on this land. We really missed the last, a good one. It was on land banks this morning, but Loretta had asked them if they were gonna have it recorded, which they said it would be. So you might want, they say it takes a week or two or something like that, but you might want to get on that, go into it. I think it's pretty good because of what's going on right now. So if you can get on there, at least this is the last day. So try to at least get, part of it. Okay.
And real quick, Monty, I put in the chat about Women's Council. Marty's doing his vision board Zoom party on the 22nd. I know some of you have been getting emails about that. And then at the 1 o'clock session for national, that's the civic engagement. And Laura has asked me to open the prayer. So y'all come support that and pray for me as I pray.
So thank you, Ms. Carol, you and your
Is it 1 or 12?
For what you've done. Thank
1
you.
o'clock. Well, we appreciate you guys as always for staying the course and being a part of this wonderful organization, NAREB, and we're looking forward to 2021. And you guys have a happy holiday and I guess a new year too, because we won't see you till next year.
Correct. Y'all take care.
You
Okay,
guys
all
take
right.
care and be safe.
Bye-bye. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Bye-bye.